She was 13 years old, standing in front of a camera for the first time, wearing a bright smile that could light up any room. She had no idea, absolutely no idea, that one day the entire world would know her name. That the little girl from Grand Prairie, Texas, who grew up in a tiny apartment with a teenage mom, who wore second-hand clothes and dreamed just a little too big for her small town, would become one of the most recognizable human beings on the planet. But here's the thing that nobody talks about. The fame. That was never the hardest part. The hardest part was everything that happened behind the curtain. The illness that nearly killed her. The heartbreak that broke her in front of millions. The moments where she stood alone in a bathroom, staring at her own reflection, and didn't recognize the person looking back. This is not just a story about a pop star. This is a story about survival. This is the story of Selena Gomez, her transformation, her pain, her power, and how she became the woman she is today. Let's go back. All the way back to the beginning. The year is 1992. July 22nd, to be exact. In a small hospital in Grand Prairie, Texas, a baby girl is born to two very young parents. Her mother, Mandy, is just 16 years old. Her father, Ricardo, is 18. They are teenagers themselves, barely old enough to understand what life is, let alone how to raise a child. But that child, that little girl they named Selena Marie Gomez, would grow up to change everything. They named her after the legendary Tejano singer Selena Quintanilla, the woman they called the Queen of Tejano music. It was a name full of hope, full of music, full of something bigger than their small apartment and their young, uncertain lives. But life in the Gomez household was not easy. Not even close. Mandy and Ricardo were struggling. They were young, they were broke, and the pressure of raising a child while still being children themselves was enormous. By the time Selena was 5 years old, her parents had separated. Ricardo walked out of their lives, and for years, Selena barely knew her father. She grew up in a household where money was scarce, where her mother worked multiple jobs just to keep the lights on, just to put food on the table. Imagine that. A little girl, 5 years old, watching her mother come home exhausted every single night. Watching her mother sacrifice everything. That image never left Selena. It shaped her in ways that people who only know her from magazines and music videos could never fully understand. But here's what made Selena different from the very beginning. She didn't collapse under the weight of her circumstances. She dreamed. She would sit in front of the television and watch old movies. She loved the magic of storytelling. She loved Then There Is the Actual Selena Gomez. The one who was sick when nobody knew. The one who cried in hospital beds. The one who stood in front of a mirror on the worst days and chose to keep going. The one who took everything the world threw at her. Illness, heartbreak, public scrutiny, mental health struggles, a literal organ transplant, and turned it into music, into art, into companies that do good, into a voice that gives other people permission to be honest about their own struggles. That Selena Gomez is so much